Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Fearfans podcast. I'm your host, Don Elmy, and with me is my co-host, Nick Muley, and with us is Tom from Tom's World.
This is Tom's World.
This is Tom's World, right?
No punctuation, no spaces. No.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. One of those evenings, I guess. But anyway, so tonight we have got a favorite among the werewolf genre, and that is the 1981 cult classic, The Howling. And this was crazy enough. This was actually released like the same year as An American Werewolf in London.
1981.
My all-time favorite werewolf movie. And strange enough, Rick Baker actually was going to work with The Howling originally, but at the last minute just changed to his mind and went to work on American Werewolf in London, which he won the first Academy Award for with makeup effects.
And neither one of you were alive at that time.
Well, you know what?
I was.
Yeah.
I was
Well,
6 years
you guys
old.
Did you guys know, however, that believe it or not, although both these movies were made around the same year, the scripts of American Werewolf in London is actually still older than The Howling itself, because when you brought up Rick Baker, Don, it was revealed that John Landis has explained in an interview that he actually wrote and gave Rick Baker the script back in 1971. So they had a lot of time to figure out how they were going to make this movie. So they didn't they didn't film until 10 years later in 1981. So technically the script line for American Werewolf in London is older than The Howling is.
I saw when I first started looking up information online about The Howling tonight, which I rewatched most of the movie.
What's up, Jeremy?
Tonight. Hey, Jeremy. But I actually saw that the original Howling, one of the years it had was 1977. I said, wait, that doesn't make sense because the movie came out in 1981.
Yep.
It was
that was a long time in the making.
Oh yeah. It was. Oh, here, let me address this message here from Health Bars. This is in regarding one of my recent videos that got blocked because of copyright issues. Health Bars, I haven't sent it to Kobe yet because I had trouble converting it into a file size that would fit under under an Instagram message. So, and I can't just send him the YouTube link because he won't be able to see it because obviously blocked. But I'm still working on that. But as soon as I'm able to get that figured out, I'll make sure it gets sent to you, man.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I hate when my videos get blocked.
You gotta love copyright.
Yep.
I've never had that problem on YouTube, but all my stuff is original. So
and that's kind of been the same with me also.
Thomas?
That's also kind of the same with me too with my Scary Stories audiobooks. I've never had any issues with that. And also too, I actually did get permission from the writers to record them.
And I did the audio for one of them.
That's right. Hey, what's up, Kate? Good to see you.
Hey. Let's see. The first draft of American Werewolf in London was
1969. Okay, because I heard it was 1971.
Wow. Well, I've been working on this movie for a while. Yeah. Oh, here. Also,
someone wants to review.
What gave me the idea of creating a podcast? Well, I've been a fan of horror for practically my entire life since I was 5 years old, watching this piece of film treasure right there, Jaws, and ever since then, growing up watching horror and seeing how Nick was part of the Things Network, because both Nick and I are fans of horror films, and I saw the podcast and all the live streams that people have been doing. I reached about over a year ago. I said, "Hey Nick, I got a great idea. Why don't we set up a podcast that's horror based? Yeah, we can just cover all sorts of horror movies every week." And so that's what started what became known as the Fearfans podcast.
And that's also why I decided to bring you on too, Don, because I thought it would definitely, because we're always looking for new shows anyway, so it would be something that would have benefited the network. So definitely glad, it's gone quite a long ways.
Yeah. Well, hey, glad to be part of the team, man.
Yep.
I can relate, man. There's another network we won't mention right now.
Tom.
that has come a long way in a couple of years.
That too. And I've watched several of the shows, so it's awesome what you guys have been doing as well.
Yep.
Oh, here. Rick Baker also won an Oscar for Best Makeup Effects for the Wolfman remake.
Still going strong with what he
Oh,
does.
He is. He's retired now. He retired years ago from effects, but
Oh,
well,
really?
oh yeah, but he still produced amazing work during his time. You know, his name always be remembered as far as makeup effects. The man was man's a genius, and yeah, it's funny you mentioned the Wolfman because the Wolfman has been referenced several different times in this movie. There's all sorts of references
They
to
were
werewolf
watching
movies.
it in the movie.
Yeah, there were all sorts of. It's not just the Wolfman. There's all sorts of werewolf mention or references from other werewolf movies. Like some of the characters are named after directors of werewolf movies that have been done previous to this. Let's see. Oh yeah, also love at the end of the credits. In this way, it just shows that scene where the gypsy woman was warning Lawrence Talbot, saying, "Go, you go now. May heaven help you." That was a nice touch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I will say that there is a lot, like a ton of familiar faces in this movie, like from TV and movies throughout the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
And Piranha.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it was directed by the same director too, Joe Dante.
And the same writer, John Sayles, who he wrote the screenplay for this for The Howling as well, and he also played the mortician who when Chris and Terry were going to look at Eddie's body, and I also love that shot in that scene where
when
shows
they went to look for it, but then it wasn't there.
But then it wasn't there, yeah, with scratch marks on the door. And I especially love that shot where there was a there was a shot where there was a half-eaten cheeseburger sitting right next to a brain that's been cut in half because remember this is a morgue, right?
Yeah.
And Terry was saying, I don't know, like what was it? Something along the lines of how I don't know how you can stand it. You know, it's like okay, I'm working with cut up bodies. Okay, I'm gonna have a bite of my burger. So,
and the guy that was with her there, like I said, I was rewatching a little bit of it earlier before the show started. I watched about like a half hour, 45 minutes of it, and I recognized him immediately as a guy that I saw on MASH not that long ago. I was like,
MASH.
Me and my dad we rewatch MASH all the time. Like
that's a good show.
On. And he was like on an episode where he was trying to marry one of the local Korean girls for money or whatever and everything. And as soon as I saw him, I went, "Oh my God, I know that guy." I went back and I looked and I was like, "Oh my God, yeah, that is him." It's crazy.
MASH was a huge show back in the 70s and early 80s. So you know, especially with all those kind of actors, they were bound to appear in such a film.
You know,
like that.
Little crazy bit of trivia.
Jen. What's up, Jen? Wait, I got to say this very quickly with Jen here. Nebraska is her favorite state. I know you guys don't get the joke, but
yeah. Well, I think I get it. I'm thinking Nebraska is.
Don, we can't hear you.
What?
I hear him.
Tom?
What? I hear him.
Oh, wait.
It's you.
Okay, you know what? Okay, I am so dumb. And I accidentally pressed the mute button. Like, wait, what? Because I got the cordless keyboard. So, what were you saying, Don?
Okay, I was saying that. So basically, I get it. Nebraska is to Jen what Maine is to Stephen King.
And look what her response is.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
Yep. And plug it in. Plug it in.
little crazy bit of trivia about MASH since I brought it up when we were talking about it. On that last episode of MASH, the most toilets were flushed at the same time.
Seriously?
Throughout the country. Like when the show ended, then everybody then went to the bathroom and they all flushed their toilets at like the same time.
Wow.
You can look it up.
Yeah, I'll have to look it up after.
How did I not see that episode? Because I used to watch that show with my grandfather.
I've seen every episode.
That's a good show.
By far and away, me and my dad's favorite episode was like season 2, episode 1. I think it's called "Divided We Stand" or something like that. And there's just like a point where where Henry is just like on edge because something's going on, some kind of inspection or whatever, and radar comes up behind him and he says something. He just jumps. He's like, "What the hell?" And me and my dad just like both crack up simultaneously when that comes on.
Wow.
It's
Oh,
I wanted to get to a comment, actually. Kate's comment here. She just said, "Does it?" Oh, jeez.
what was that?
The hell?
What was that?
what the hell?
Sorry, I don't know what the hell's going on with my laptop today. It's just
Yeah. Like I said, like I keep telling you, Nick, get a MacBook Pro. That's what I did.
okay. I think I got everything under control now. But
Nick's computer is possessed. Forgive me.
yeah, maybe it is. Okay,
Could be.
so
Been
Kate.
hacked.
So Kate here says, I remember my first horror film was watching 13 Ghosts from 1960 with her dad and the red and green 3D glass, the William Castle classic one. Yeah, that was the glasses where, like, if you, I think it was actually red and blue. Like, if you saw it through the blue side, you could see the ghosts, and then if you see it through the red side, it made the ghosts disappear. Yeah.
Those were the classic 3D glasses, and they were usually made with cheap cardboard, real thin cardboard.
Oh, Jeremy.
Yeah,
right.
take it away. Someone take it away. You can have it, Don.
No, thanks. I have a MacBook Pro, top of the line. Hey, Nick, follow my example, man.
I thought you were originally going to say follow my lead.
Yeah,
I have no problems with my PC here. I mean, everything's hardwired, so and my son built this computer, so.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good for him.
Nice. He's been my savior with this. This computer here has been like the heart of BB3. Right? And this is Nick, Tom's World.
And yep, of course, you got to have This Is Tom's World.
Yep. Subscribe. Everybody subscribe to This Is Tom's World. Oh, here.
Thomas
is saying, Thomas is saying, how is everyone? I'm doing great, Thomas. Yeah, and this is one of my subscribers, Nick. I saw him last night. He was on the, it was last night. It's where I was playing Arkham Knight. The live
I was
stream.
on there too.
Yep, you were on there too, Tom. I remember.
See,
I remember Sarah. I remember several of you guys have been on here.
See,
and Thomas has an awesome name, by the way.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
I would have joined too, but unfortunately, this is for beneficial reasons, just so you guys know. I'm finally getting back to work on my audiobook stories before we collaborate once again on Nightmare Soup 3.
Nice.
And it's the current book, At the Cemetery Gates, year 1. And I can tell you guys right now, most of them have been edited. I'm down to just one final story in that book to edit down. Although, unfortunately,
take your break. Jeremy's saying take your break.
Take my break.
Yes.
I will be taking a break as soon as I do this. I've had to push this back. So, unfortunately, this last story, of course, is always going to be the longest one and the most difficult. I got to review like over 2 hours of audio that I recorded, and I've only gotten, if I didn't have this headache this evening, I probably would have gotten a lot more done, but I have managed, fortunately, to already cut out 20 minutes of unnecessary audio.
Oh, I see. I got you.
So,
Nick, so I was saying before, like, about how there are the cast of The Howling. Some of the names look familiar for those who have seen Piranha. Like, I was mentioning the character Terry. She's played by Belinda, what's her name? Blasky.
Belinda Blasky, yes.
Yep. She had worked alongside Joe Dante in Piranha. She played Betsy, the camp counselor who was killed by the piranhas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and she also, because she acted in a lot of horror films throughout the late 70s and 80s, obviously. In addition to Piranha and The Howling, this wasn't directed by Joe Dante, but a few years later, she would obviously appear in a very classic Stephen King tale, Cujo.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And so did Dee Wallace Stone, who Dee Wallace now. She used to go by Dee Wallace Stone, but Dee Wallace, who was also in this film, and along with her, who would then be her husband, Christopher Stone, and they were actually, I believe, they were engaged at the time this movie was being made. And so after they got married, she changed her stage name to Dee Wallace Stone up until when Christopher Stone died from his heart attack in 1995.
Yeah.
Or was it 97?
It was sometime in the mid-90s.
One of those two. Oh, no, wait. The actress in this, Elizabeth Brooks, she died in 1997. She was the one who played that nymphomaniac woman in this movie. What was it, Marsha?
I didn't realize she died that soon.
Yeah, Marsha.
Yep. Yeah, she died of brain. I looked her up. She died from brain cancer at age 46.
Jeez, that's way too young.
Oh yeah,
I'm older than
and
that now.
she was actually upset after she was in this movie. You know why? Because of the one particular scene where she was in with Christopher Stone. You know what I'm talking about, right? That's a little scene right by the campfire. And
yeah, where they did that really badly animated transformation as they were having coitus.
Well, that's the thing. It wasn't animated. It was all practical effects.
I thought it was all practical effects, not animation.
When the camera started panning back,
I see what you're saying now.
Animated, and it was.
That's the other thing too. Is unlike in American Werewolf in London, they actually put in some animation effects. Into the transformation sequences rather than having actual physical effects made.
But up until that point, when it's animated, it was actually really good for practical effects.
It was good for its time, yes.
Yeah,
and
it was like kind of a stop motion kind of effect. Now that I think about
like you'd see the hair coming out of the neck and everything.
Oh yeah,
it was good.
Yeah, Rob Bottin, who was who did the effects in this, he did an amazing job with what he could with the budget and all that. But I wanted to get to what Elizabeth Brooks, why she was upset being part of that scene is because she did not want to do any nude scenes because she said in an interview that she believed in the Bible and had her set of morals, and she was told when she was doing the scene that there was going to be smoke covering the certain areas,
the nuclear area.
Of course they didn't.
That there would be smoke covering that. So, and she was told that and went on with the scene. But then when she saw the final print in theaters where it showed that was far from the case, she was, oh God, she was livid.
Well, if she was that worried about it, then she would have just covered the nipple with like a flesh colored sticker. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. She was told the smoke was going to cover everything. Like, no, audiences were not going to see anything. But no, I mean, she was furious when she saw.
I mean, come on, it's a horror movie in the 80s.
Well, and also too, you got to figure out, what you're signing up for. If you're going to act in a film, saying this is what if you decide to be part of this, expect this, because you know what, Don. Let's face it. You and I have actually not that kind of stuff, but you and I have been interviewed.
What have you guys been doing?
Wait, no, you and I have been interviewed for a film. Well, no, I was about to say, if you remember, you and I were interviewed when we were for Breaking Faded Entertainment. When
I wasn't asked to participate in anything that was like that. They
asked me. Except
that's right.
They asked me because I don't know what they asked you. They asked me saying, "Well, are you willing to be dumped underwater or something like that for a death sequence?"
Maybe you should stop there, Nick. TMI. Follow Brad's advice. Follow Brad's advice.
Don will not show his nipple on a film. It's not going to happen. Even if you promise there's going to be smoke, he's not going to do it.
Hell no. Oh yeah,
I won't do it either.
Sued? Well, could have sued. Maybe
you can't really do that.
I don't know though. You sign so many things when you get on board with a film. I think the legality issues. Like I think she would have lost if she tried to sue.
I don't know. Yeah, that tends to be an issue with some actresses in certain movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, Elizabeth Brooks. So like, even though she's nothing like that in real life, she actually did an amazing job with her character.
Yeah.
But,
and the guy I was talking about that was on MASH, that's Dennis Dugan.
That's who it was. Dennis
played
Dugan.
Chris. And I just now realized that the old guy that was at the camp or whatever they called that, that was John Carradine.
Yeah,
I didn't even realize that when I was
watching
it earlier.
Oh yes, older brother of David Carradine. Carradine,
father,
I remember.
I think.
Oh yeah,
isn't it?
I think it said it was his older brother of David Carradine.
Yeah. And Kevin McCarthy is in it, which I recognized him right away.
Yeah,
the guy from Inner Space. Come on.
And Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah, the original.
And Piranha.
Yeah. And Dick Miller. I mean, I recognize him right away.
You can't go wrong without recognizing.
He's been in so many movies, especially with Joe Dante's movies. He's not only been in Piranha and The Howling, he's also been in Gremlins, Small Soldiers, and
also is the movie I go to with him.
Gremlins. Oh yeah,
he was in both actually, 1 and 2.
Yep, he is both of them. Yeah, those are my
somehow. That, not to deviate from the movie, but like I don't understand how the hell he was in the second one because he got killed in the first one.
Yeah.
No, they did talk about it briefly that he survived that somehow. He somehow had survived that. He said he nearly died.
That is definitely not happening, Brad. No way. Nest the Revenge. No way. Nice try.
For those who are wondering, The Nest is an '80s cult horror film about killer mutant roaches.
I will.
If there's one thing in this world that Nick hates, it's roaches.
I would rather, like I was saying, like with director Rolf McKinney saying dumped in like water or something like that for like a drowning scene. I'd rather do something like that than having deal with killer cockroaches. And yes, I probably would get a flamethrower, Brad.
It wouldn't work. They just keep coming back.
Nest of the Corn.
Let's see.
But I will say that for the genre of the 70s and 80s movies, like we need to get back to that because like the last show I was on for you guys, like Cocaine Bear, and then you got like The Ring, and you got it's all like it's either comedy horror or it's jump scare horror. With the movies that they made back in the late 70s, early to mid 80s, the horror movies, they had a certain
element,
like intenseness to them. You know what I mean? That we don't have anymore, and we need to get back to that. And you can combine it with the technology of today, the CGI bullshit and all that.
Well, if you look at, I can tell you, and I bring this film up a lot because it's just now one of my all-time favorite movies, and also I'm saying this, because of my love of scary stories. If you look at a film like the movie of Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, that was, for the most part, pretty much original to its structure, if you will, because it really essentially was what horror movies used to be. They were guys in costumes. It doesn't rely on jump scares.
No.
It used, maybe one or two.
It was psychological and practical effects.
It used if you look at a film like that too, they use very little CGI in that film. So it's very original. But another thing to kind of contribute to that's actually, once again, similar to what I do with my audiobook stories, including my current one, because mine is not a bunch of jump scares or anything. It's just designed to have, even though it's audio, it's designed to give that element of uneasiness, kind of basically making it a movie without a picture, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
and that's
let's see. Like there are several moments where it seems like where oh man, like the suspense build up and like kind of and the scares in this film in particular as well, because I remember certain scenes like where, let's see, what was her name? Terry was like in the Dr. Wagner's office, and here.
I'm sorry, I had to bring that up.
was in Wagner's office and was trying to find Eddie's file, and Eddie is apparently related to Marcia and TC, like their siblings. Into their pulling up his file, and the second she finds his file pulled up, a werewolf hand grabs that file. It's Eddie in werewolf form, and I'm thinking I always make fun of that bit, I'm just thinking that's just Eddie's way of saying, hey lady, those files are confidential.
Well,
you can't view these files.
Yeah.
Well, another thing that should be addressed, especially for what also should be addressed, especially for that scene, because I think it's the first time you see something like that in the film. Unlike most werewolf films, you see very clearly, even during the attack, that it's not nighttime outside; it's full broad daylight. So that obviously shows, unlike other werewolf films, this is basically a race or a species of werewolves that do not require a full moon.
No.
They can change at will. And unlike other movies where when they turn into a werewolf, it's obviously overcome by another personality. It's the personality side of the werewolf. In this case, there is no personal side. It's still themselves. They're still conscious, even in their werewolf forms. And so essentially, it's more like not only just essentially like a werewolf, but kind of like the minds of a shapeshifter, if you will.
And Dick Miller said that verbatim too. Like when they said, "Oh, well, it has to be a full moon," he said, "Oh, that's Hollywood bullshit."
Yeah,
we're gonna change it. Basically, we're gonna make this one like stand out from other werewolf films.
Yeah, that's exactly.
They can change at any time they want to. That's why they're called shapeshifters, which is what he said.
Yeah, that's what Dick Miller was saying when Chris and Terry were like looking for books about werewolves and about shape changing. Yeah, saying that. Yeah, making it clear that these werewolves were not going to be like the typical Hollywood werewolf, transforming at the moon, like having an uncontrollable transformation where the beast comes out. But no, it's like these things in this movie, the werewolves are able to change at will, and their personalities stay with them, like you said. And I thought that was a very like nice change of pace, nice change of things.
It is. I that's why I think they're more. I really usually would. I mean, when I see, I'd rather call them more shapeshifters than actual werewolves, because you look at a lot of werewolves, it's usually an uncontrollable curse. A shapeshifter in this case is somebody who has the ability to change at will and again still has their consciousness. So that's they. So I mean, they're still werewolves regardless, but I still see them really as more shapeshifters.
Right.
And why
they
did
say and Dick Miller did say in the movie that that the only way you can kill these werewolves is the part of it is still true, that with silver bullets and fire. And he says these things are like cockroaches.
Oh, God damn it, Don! You had to bring that up. Yep. Now Brad's going to say something.
He did actually say that.
Yep.
Oh, it's like what Brad says, like a skinwalker.
Yep, kind of. And also on top of all that, these werewolves now have like a I guess you could call a healing factor. They can regenerate from injuries if it's not from a silver bullet. That's why when Eddie came back later on in the movie, that's why he was able to come back, because when the cops shot him, those weren't silver bullets, so he was able to recover from
that. And then he escaped from the little thing.
Yeah, even when as far as digging a bullet out of his forehead, and I'm just like, wow, these effects, man.
That's why, and the fire aspect is why John Carradine, like in the beginning of it, like when he was drunk at the party when they first went to the community or whatever that was, he was trying to go to the fire. He said, "I just want to end it. I want to end it." And they're like, "Oh, he's just being dramatic. That's just him."
Guys, I'm gonna get some water.
He really was trying to put an end to his life because he couldn't take being a werewolf. Yep.
Right. And well, because he's old, and he was mentioning about his teeth not being well or something right before that.
Yeah, he mentioned that.
So if you're a meat eater and your teeth are going, that's gotta suck.
Guys, I'll be back in just a second. I'm just gonna grab some water.
All right, well, grab me one, man.
Hey. Nick, how many times have we been over this, man? Like, follow my example. I always have a drink beforehand. Like, look at this. I got a body armor and sports drink.
I was going so quick on things.
I'm always equipped with my own drinks here.
Just to cool myself down, just from the headache, the effects of the headache. So
I got you.
Yeah,
hey,
I'll be back.
I'm just messing, man. But
I know you are.
This body armor. This is a new flavor, the strawberry banana. I figured I'd give that a try, and
it's not bad.
It's not bad. Doesn't disappoint.
No, it's not. I actually like that. I like the fruit punch too. It's not bad.
Nick was prepared. I know. I was just messing with him. Don, you know Nick long enough to know he does not listen. Yeah.
we definitely need to get back to the style of horror movies that we had back in the 80s, because there was a definite element to it that we're lacking nowadays. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's more based on jump scares now and stuff like that. And who cares? I mean, we had movies that had jump scares in it back then, but it wasn't like the main basis of the movie. It was more psychological. It was more like in depth. Like, I mean, even when you look at movies like Creepshow, like where it was multiple different stories and everything, but it was all under an umbrella of that creature, that creep guy that was like outside the window, like, you know what I mean? Like, it was, I don't know. We really need to get back to that. Those movies were so much better.
Yep. Well, Leon agrees with you.
I'm glad you do, because it's true. I mean, the horror movies of nowadays, like, even like, all right, we'll take like the Evil Dead franchise. I watched the latest installment of the Evil Dead franchise. Mm-hmm. Was it a good movie? Sure, it was a good movie.
Yeah.
It cannot hold a candle to Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness.
Yeah, I mean, sure, it's not on par with the original classic, but I do to an extent I do give it some credit as far as trying something different, like changing the setting instead of just being in the
Yeah.
cabin in the woods as it typically is with the Evil Dead franchise, going into a rundown apartment building in LA, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean it was definitely different.
Yeah.
And I did enjoy it. I watched it. I liked it because they did give nods to the original. There was a shotgun, there was a chainsaw, there were like certain phrases uttered and stuff like that. And
Dead by dawn.
yeah, join us.
Yep.
Like,
And what I like about Evil Dead is how like this one really means business as far as nobody is safe because these demons were going after characters that you did not expect them to really go after. It's like if they could kill this person, they'll go after anybody.
and of course they have to go after the redhead. I mean, come on now, why?
Oh, Leon was asking about this, talking to me about this yesterday. He just got the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game, and he's telling me it's great, but it's a hard game. Yeah, I imagine so. I mean, Leatherface, I imagine he's tough to beat.
And my son was actually telling me about that. So he said it's kind of more like a Dead by Daylight kind of game, much like the Evil Dead game is actually that they made, and it's like more team based. It's I don't know. Those games are like a dime a dozen anymore, though. You know?
Oh yeah, this is pretty much like how when they made the Friday the 13th game, the newest one, and with how they made. Oh, like how they're making killer clowns from outer space. Yeah, like
are they really going to make a killer clown from outer space?
Oh, yeah,
my God.
Oh, hey.
Of course they are. Talk to Jeremy about it.
Yeah. Hey, Lauren.
Hey, what's up, Lauren?
Yeah. So let's get back to the movie. Let's see. So Dee Wallace, who I mentioned in this, plays Karen, who is the main character, like a news anchor who was helping the police track down a serial killer who had apparently been targeting her. But that seems like a very questionable kind of operation. Like having her go after the person, like come on, guys. And also, Dee Wallace said that the most uncomfortable scene for the entire movie was in the porno shop.
Oh God!
Because she said she felt, even though it wasn't wasn't for real, it was still like a very uncomfortable experience for her walking into a store like that.
Well, what's even more unsettling was actually playing, though.
Oh
That's
my God!
Even more worse. It's not even just the shop itself. It was
even though that adult film in the show in there was fake, was just made for the movie, doesn't change the way I feel. Like any mistreatment of any kind towards women is just vile to me.
I knew I shouldn't have let her go back there.
Yeah. Which is the worst area possible.
Yeah. But anyway, so
look, Nick disappeared.
Yeah. He keeps disappearing.
I always do with the green screen. You know that.
Right. Oh, there was one person in this, the doctor who was working with Karen, who has come to his colony. Dr. Wagner, I believe his name is. Yeah, he's played by let's see, the actor who was that guy?
Patrick McMacney.
Yeah, Elite. I think that's how you say it.
MacNee.
McManamy, I guess.
Or just Mac.
Oh, done.
Oh, here I got it. Patrick McManamy. Yes.
Yeah.
I guess he's been done all kinds of work, but the movie that I remember,
I've seen him a lot.
But the movie that I primarily remember him from is the James Bond movie, A View to a Kill, which was the final James Bond movie where Roger Moore was Bond. He played a MI6 operative who was working with Bond to take down Christopher Walken, but ended up getting killed.
Christopher
Walken.
Yep,
he was in one of those movies.
He was the Bond villain of A View to a Kill.
Didn't Duran do that song?
They did. Yep, Duran did A View to a Kill.
Wow.
Real quick, Don. I don't know if you saw this. What Lawrence said. Did you see the pictures that she posted about that? She went to the filming location. Did you see that?
No, I had no idea about this.
Go on her page. Not now, but go on her page and you'll see the pictures. It's
the original Friday the 13th.
Yes, the original one, which was actually filmed in New Jersey. So
I know that.
Yeah.
Not
Good
real
Jersey,
far
yes.
from me. It's like less than an hour away from me in Philly.
Oh,
nice.
I didn't know you weren't that far from like the Pennsylvania New Jersey border.
I can get to Jersey in less than 10 minutes from here.
Nice.
Ah,
I'll have to look into that because I haven't been on Facebook that much lately, but I'll have to look into that.
I will be in Jersey this coming week though, and I'm
Jill.
most
Jill.
likely. Hey, Joe. I will most likely be doing a video. Stephanie and I are going to be in Atlantic City. We're leaving Sunday night. We'll be there until Tuesday afternoon.
Oh,
for our anniversary, 2-year anniversary, and I'm going to try to make a video there. I'm going to see if I can get the balls up to actually go into the lighthouse and go up. I have a fear of heights. I have an extreme fear of heights.
Boy.
And this lighthouse is like old as hell. But I'm going to see if I can try to do that. And if I can do that, I'm going to make a video out of it. So
well, let's face it, Tom. I think I'm starting to realize something because if this is going to be in Jersey, you're just going to have to tell everybody, especially for those of This Is Tom's World, is what you're doing. It's just a Jersey thing. You just got to be Jersey to get it.
I knew you were going to bring that up. I knew you were going to reference that.
Yep. What's that?
Oh yeah, she's still listening, but yeah. So yeah, it's good to have you on here, Jill.
She's asking how did she get Tom's hat?
Oh, you want to know? Hey, listen, I can help you out with that. I can supply a link. Oh, I can't put it in. Damn it.
I could if you could send me
it. I'll send it to you
in.
and you can put it up. All right, yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, send it to me and I'll put it in the comments.
Here, let me So, oh man, this is the first time I'm going to share my merch link on here, man. This is
yay!
All right.
Now let's see here.
What you guys keep talking while I'm
okay. And Jill, I just want to say it's been a while since I've heard from you, but I hope you're doing well. I really hope you're doing all right.
I was just talking with her a few days ago just to see how she's been doing. And yes, you know what? Actually, what Brad just said. Yeah, I hope you're doing all right out in California, Joe, because you guys heard about that. You guys heard about that Hurricane Hillary was possibly going to strike Southern California.
Yeah, hope they miss that hurricane misses California.
And I just want to give you guys actually a quick trivia fact. People often wonder, is that unusual for a hurricane to affect, in this case, Southern California? It does happen, but we should actually consider ourselves kind of lucky out of this because there have been hurricanes or storm systems that have hit California, but so far throughout history, there have only ever been 2 documented. The first one was back in 1854, I believe. No, 1858. And then the other most recent one was back in 1939. So this is almost like a once in 80-year period. So put it this way, guys, as crazy as it's going to sound, we should consider ourselves very lucky that we're witnessing something like this because we don't know when something like this. It could happen next year. It could happen in another 80 years.
That's right.
Sure.
Let's see. What was a?
Okay, yeah, no, very bad storms. Oh, I didn't know there was an earthquake. Also, well, again, it's California, but I didn't know that there was a recent earthquake. And Jill, I know you can't see all the comments, but you got a few responses. Lauren here is praying for you. So, but oh geez, her social friends were hit though in Oxnard in Ventura.
Oh damn!
But it is true though. It is true. Such storms like that can't hit. It was often believed that hurricanes and tropical storms and typhoons couldn't hit the West Coast area because it was believed that the waters were just too cold for them to sustain themselves. And in fact, it does weaken them. They're not as destructive or powerful as like what you'd see in the South, like in Florida in the case, but they still can happen, just not, and still can cause quite the amount of destruction, just not as severely as you see from some other areas.
I see. What was I gonna say? Oh, one of my favorite scenes of this of the howling was where Terry and Chris go into right after Eddie was gunned down, and they had to go into the room that he was staying in. So yeah, they investigate further, and it showed like all of his all his news clippings, all his drawings, like all the hairy faces. It's just like that's how you know something's going on with this guy, more than just targeting, like killing people. There's like, those hairy faces have something to do with him. But And also, if you look closely in that scene, you'll see another piranha reference because there was a newspaper clipping that said like something along the lines of "man killed by like saying that someone was killed by man-eating piranhas." So
So I guess it takes place in the same universe.
good. Well, in a universe where Betsy survived because she's Terry now and was in that room. So yeah, that makes sense.
Maybe living
Nick,
under a
you have
secret
that link.
identity.
My
Those-
Secret Identity. That was a TV show.
Oh yeah,
In the 90s.
oh yeah. Botten went all out on the transformation scenes, Jill, especially when it comes to Eddie in that scene where he finally crosses paths again with D Wallace or Karen in this movie. And so Eddie, that transformation scene was wow. Like they had to use like these kinds of like balloons covering like latex to like make it look like his skin was like transforming, bubbling out. And that was a slow transformation scene filled with all practical effects over the course of 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Yes, I timed it.
I was just going to say originally that you must watch the YouTube video, but if you actually timed it, well, I'll have to take your word for it then.
No need to watch it on YouTube.
You got it there. So you got it. You had it timed. And you know, the other thing I wanted to bring this up earlier when we were talking about the animated effects that they did use. You know what a lot of the animated effects kind of really remind me of? It resembled a little bit like that of Ray Harryhausen, because just some of the effects had a similar look to it to what Ray Harryhausen used for his own effects, which, again, 1981 also saw the year of the movie Clash of the Titans, which they used those kind of effects.
Yep. That's right. That was one of the last films that he had done.
Movie, man.
Yeah,
yeah.
The Titans. I remember that one. I had to watch that for a history class when we were covering Greek mythology.
We did the same thing too. We watched the film in middle school, so
because I wanted to watch it. Of course, I was alive then, so
you were.
I'd been born like 6 years prior, so
Man.
And by the time it came on TV, I was probably more like 10.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Here, I wanted to get a picture like showing like what the werewolves look like in this movie. Let me put that up. This won't even take a second. Here, I've got this one here.
I think I know which image this is.
While
it's like a small group of them.
My spread shop.
Here, share it, Tom.
because Jill really wants a hat. And I have more than hats. I have T-shirts. I have hoodies. I have pillows. I have all kinds of stuff.
So here's what
That's
that's
one of them.
That's one of them. This I believe is the one that Eddie. This is the Eddie.
Yeah, that's
werewolf.
Eddie.
Yep. And let's see. Let's go to.
And
like
Tom,
this,
I'm actually just.
This is like where he transforms. You could see like his chest. They have like they applied. I believe those like the inflatables like underneath that.
Yeah, like latex skin kind of thing, like they did for Thriller.
Yep.
Yep.
Did that to puff out of the chest more, giving the illusion that transformation is occurring.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too that funny you brought that up too, Tom, is that just less than a year, 2 years later, when all this talk about effects like you see in The Howling and American Werewolf in London, then all of a sudden we see a similar animate transformation and process again in the music video for Thriller.
Well, what was that? John Landis?
Yeah, it was John Landis.
Yeah,
he directed that. Yep, that's right. So yeah, that gives you a little.
I saw the making of Thriller enough to know.
Yeah.
You guys see this? You guys see this comment with Brett? Damn, no wonder why it was so scary. They made them look like the X.
Well, they kind of do look like
Brad,
my ex.
You better pray every day that your ex never watches my show.
I would love it if my ex
watching
watched and she saw me say that. That would be great.
Well, and also too, I'm just going to warn this right now because since I've actually met up and hung out with and investigated with Brad, my only message, because I know his ex is probably going to come looking for me. My only message is, God, please don't find me after this show. Because he's like, where is he?
He's a dead man.
I know nothing.
or me in the more. Oh. I got my phone.
Wait. Brad said he didn't say which X.
Witness protection. Okay.
Well, he's in witness protection more because of Adrian, not really much of the exes.
I got it.
And you should answer this question for Jill.
Yes. Here. Yes, I was going to respond to this. The Howling and American Werewolf in London came out the same year in 1981. Which do I prefer? Personally, I prefer American Werewolf in London. I feel like that was done a little bit better. Both of the films have great cast, amazing practical effects for its time, and yeah, like there's always been this debate as to which one is better. Yeah, as far as the practical effects, I have no idea.
Those links done. That's the link that Tom just sent me. So I was
why does it have all the Facebook? And
I don't know. It was so weird that I sent it, but I hope it works for Jill's side because I know she won't be. Oh yeah, hopefully it works.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jill. If they don't work, send me a message. It's Tom Nally, and you'll know my image when you'll see it. It's me and my goddess as my profile picture. Just send me a message, and I can send you the link if they don't work. And you can most definitely get one of these hats because they are very cool. I know.
I might have to get a hat too.
I don't wear hats because last time I wore a hat, it was a Blackhawks hat. Went to a Blackhawks game with cousins. Went to use the restroom. Took my hat off. Forgot my hat in the restroom. Never saw it again.
Well done.
I don't wear hats.
Yeah.
Well, I only wear this because
if we meet up with Tom and he wants to feature us in an episode of This Is Tom's World, you're gonna have to wear that hat.
This is why I wear hats.
That's why I don't wear hats because I don't want anything to ruining this.
I'm not losing any hair. I'm gaining hair. You know, look, I look like Norman Reedus.
You do like him.
Well, he kind of does actually.
Oh my god!
You get the shirt though, Don.
I'll take the shirt. I'll take the shirt.
Come on, Rick.
And yes, getting back. It's more of a question that Brad's asking. But no, Lauren likes your look though, Tom.
All right, yeah. All right, I'll keep it. We'll just do that. This is how I'll do. I can't see the screen, but that's all right.
I had to cover the rocker hair.
Wait, we got to get the back coming out too. And I just lost my earbud, so now I can't hear anybody.
Oh man.
Yes, and Joe.
Oh my god.
Jeremy's got. I know you can't see the Facebook comments, but Jeremy's got a comment here for you. We definitely do miss you.
Yes, we do. Yeah, it's been a while since we have you on here, and
that doesn't look good.
I'm just really hoping you're doing better, Jill.
Yeah.
So, let me know when you want to come back on here. You're always welcome.
We got our 2-year anniversary coming. We also have our 2-year anniversary coming up in less than 2 months, so we definitely would love to have you involved if you're able to.
Totally.
You get the hair on my face.
This is why I don't have hair in my face. It's spiked up.
Yeah, well, see, I haven't had hair this long since I was in my early 20s. I cut it all off to try to get a job in the office
what's up,
world,
Nikki?
and computers and stuff. And,
I got you, Tom. I hear you.
And now my girlfriend that I'm with now, about a year ago actually, because it's been about a year since the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash that we were at.
Now Tom looks like he's transforming into a werewolf with that hair.
Listen, I might be.
Tom, is there?
But
is there something
she
you're
asked
not
me to
telling
grow
us?
maybe. She asked me to grow my hair out a little bit because she liked it when I woke up in the morning and my hair was like all over the place and she thought it was hot. I don't know why. I think it looks nasty, but so I did it, and I have not had a haircut in over a year now.
Well, you guys can see. I mean, I know I cut my hair not long ago, but it's starting to kind of grow back. That long look. I enjoy it.
Look, I can get a flock of seagulls thing going on here.
I guess a flock of whatever happened to those guys?
I don't know.
That was another band for another reference of the 80s, of course.
Yeah. Oh, here, Nick. I wanted to bring this up. So The Howling, like before it was released in 1981, you probably don't know this, Nick, but it started off as a novel back in 1977 by Gary Bradner. And it was, for the most part, very different from the novel. And as far as I know, out of the Howling franchise, it was the 4th film that was like adapted, like for the most part, to the novel, like try to be like the novel. And let's see. Yes, there are about 7 sequels of The Howling. I hear they're actually working on another one right now, like a remake.
Yeah, I think the
I wouldn't
last
be
one was like
surprised.
2011. I
Yep,
think I
the
saw.
Yeah, wasn't it
How-
like, yeah, I was gonna say, wasn't it like a decade ago they made another
Yeah,
one?
it was
Yep,
like
the
the
Howling-
8th installment.
Yep, it's The Howling Reborn. Yep. So yeah, there's 7. There's about there's 7 sequels to The Howling, and yeah, don't even bother. Those sequels are terrible.
I was gonna say because I've only ever seen the original. I've never seen the sequels to them.
Yeah, like from what I've seen, the second film is bad. The only reason why I even watched it is because okay. Yeah, the only reason why I even watched the second one is because Christopher Lee is in it, and that man was
Yeah.
an icon.
The
Yep.
third one wasn't bad from what I remember. I mean, it wasn't like great,
Yeah,
but it wasn't bad.
that one was taking place in Australia. They called it the Howling 3 Marsupials.
Marsupials.
I don't
Yeah.
remember it being
They-
What
Marsupial.
were
was
go-
that?
Yeah, that was going. They were going in crazy directions as the franchise went on.
So wait, does anyone know what like marsupials? I mean, what the hell is that?
Yeah, it's like they do realize there's a difference between marsupials and wolves, right? Wolves are a form of canine.
Yeah. and
What are marsupials?
Marsupials are not.
Marsupials are like kangaroos.
Yeah.
So
Kangaroos.
So
So
there's
we're talking like were kangaroos then?
yeah.
Well, as we found out in True Blood, it's not just wolves that are were. You know, what were they? Were lions or something in True Blood, or where something?
Something like that. And here's one thing that really confuses me, that really throws me off. It's like I can go on to Apple TV, that app, right? And just type in The Howling. They don't feature the first movie. Instead, they feature all the sequels. It's like, oh, so you'll feature these crappy sequels, but not the first one that was the best.
Of course.
I don't get it.
Well, what I just want to bring this up. Actually, what Jeremy just said. Here's another thing he said about you, Tom, was that you looked like a grunge rocker.
That's right. I was imported from the '90s, man.
Well,
For
and
this
you
podcast.
You
Oh,
showed
here.
me those school pictures. You guys had that kind of rocker look to it back in the day.
So Jill saying I tried to do the second two with Christopher Lee as well. Oh, I see. And let's see. There's Reborn 2. Yes, Reborn was the
Yeah.
latest one. That was from back in 2011, like you said,
Yeah.
Nick. But yeah, I think they're currently just
I
working
see.
on a remake.
No,
Nick said that.
no,
What
I
was the
gotta
movie?
ask this: with the sequels involved, including probably eventually this new one that's coming along, after they did the original one, did Joe Dante have any more involvement in any of the films, or that it was just the original?
Nope, just the first. And the
Okay.
and they kept on changing the look of the werewolves all the time.
Yeah.
They oh here.
Oh, jeez.
Billy,
And
we were-
speaking of the sequels, which we
Yes.
were just talking
Hey, Billy.
about,
Yes, Billy. We were just discussing the sequels. I was expressing my disfavor towards them because the first one, I always tell people when it comes to the Howling franchise, the first one is the only one that's worth seeing. The rest of them are bad, really bad. Like, and I was just telling them, Billy, the only reason why I even consider watching the second one is because Christopher Lee is in it, and Saruman from Lord of the Rings, Scaramanga in The Man with the Golden Gun, and I mean Dracula. Do I even need to go on? I mean, that man was a legend. And
I go, oh, Billy, see, I think you got a point.
well, not always. There are some.
Yeah, I know you don't.
Yeah, there are some sequels that I do enjoy. Like I said, like I said, Lord of the Rings movies that had the 2 sequels in that were amazing.
They weren't supposed to have sequels. The entire sequel thing of Lord of the Rings was supposed to be one
from the book. That's
Almost like a
true.
mini series.
Well, yeah,
Like,
it was from.
if you remember the cartoon from back in if you ever watched it, the cartoon movie from back in the 80s,
Mhm.
like it summed up all of them in one.
Balshi, yes.
And it was kind of boring. I gotta say, as a kid, the cartoon was.
There's many sequels that I do enjoy, such as Terminator 2. That was way better than the first
Oh
one.
yeah,
Come on.
Yep. Let's see. The Dark Knight. I love that better than Batman Begins. Let's
Wow.
see. Aliens was on par with the original. Evil Dead 2 was as great as the first one.
and Army of Darkness.
So let's see. A couple of
Gremlins too. You said you liked.
yeah, I like it. But let's see. There's a couple of Friday the 13th sequels that I enjoyed, especially Part 6. So not all sequels are terrible. So there are some that I do give credit for.
Like with Friday the 13th, you just meant, the only sequels I really liked was part 2 to part 4, which would have been the original series before they were originally going to end it before they made New Beginning. And Billy, just to answer your question, of course, they already are planning on making a sequel to Megan.
Oh, yeah. Halloween 2 is a great continuation for the first movie.
The original Halloween 2, right?
Yeah, Halloween 2.
Okay,
Yes.
I do not like Halloween.
Not the Rob
3.
Zombie ones.
Okay,
no,
good. That's all I need to ask.
I do not like the Halloween, like the what was that? The 3, right? Like
Season of the
Mask.
Witch.
Yeah, I can't stand that movie. It has nothing to do with Michael Myers, and it's the only one that doesn't.
No.
Well,
and I get it.
supposed
They
to.
were going to try to do a whole franchise where like it didn't have anything to do really with Michael Myers, but it tanked.
I'll be right back. I got to say something about that film. Don, you know exactly where I'm going with this. So I'll be right back.
Oh my
But the guy that I do a show with for Dom and Tom's World, Dom, he actually absolutely loves that movie.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he's infatuated with that movie. I'm like, why? It has nothing to do with the rest of the movies. Not 1, not 2, not 4 or 5, whatever.
Yeah. Oh, here, Batman Returns. That was a good sequel too. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
with Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton Batman was like, I don't know. I'm sorry that he was the best Batman.
Oh yeah, Danny DeVito as Penguin. You know,
yeah,
Michelle Pfeiffer,
is,
Michelle Pfeiffer, Catwoman. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so Tom, since you just brought up you didn't like Halloween 3, that just gave me an idea. I thought I'd introduce you though.
Oh, God.
However, to this.
Happy Halloween, Halloween.
Hey, wait.
Halloween.
There's more. There's more than just that.
Wait for it.
You know what? Actually, I should do it like as a solo layout so everyone can see better.
Okay.
So you guys have, I'll show this one more time. Obviously, you guys just saw this one, but in addition, I also have this one, and these are like legitimate masks that they made.
Happy Halloween, Halloween.
And of course, hang on, I got to straighten this one out a little.
Silver Shamrock.
It's been in the trunk for the most part throughout most of this year. I haven't really taken them out since last October. Of course, you can't go wrong without this one too.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I remember that.
So I got the masks to prove it. So my question to you, Tom, is would you get these masks even if you didn't like the movie?
I don't know, maybe for display purposes.
Yeah, yeah, I get things for display purposes myself. So, Nick, what is like your favorite thing about the Howling?
Well, the one thing I got to say about the Howling, and this is actually something that I've heard from a documentary about it. And again, this is just another reason why I think it stands out from a lot of other werewolf films. Is that, I mean, for stars, like anything else, the werewolf in the werewolf in the Howling is the bad guy, of course. But I mean, not just the bad guy. He's just like absolute scum, and it's like their way of like starting this society of werewolves. I mean, it's kind of like not necessarily like a world domination, but it's the start of something. So I think that's what I really like, is that you're not talking about just somebody who has a werewolf curse and is trying to spread it to all places. You're talking about a group of shapeshifters trying to start a society, but also kill as prey. So it's like a combination. It's like they are still human beings, but they still have like these animalistic instincts of wanting to start something. It's very much like, it's more than, I don't even say, it's not even like your typical cult. It's literally a takeover.
That's right. And because there was conflict as to like what direction these characters, they had a conflict about what direction this werewolf society should go into, because Wagner was trying to have them live among mankind without be the risk of exposure, which means they had to stick to just eating cows, and then
killing livestock.
Eating livestock, yes. Which
and then
they
did eat the cows. So.
Yes, they showed that part, yes. It showed like the cow's head being or cow's throat being slashed open, and what else? And but then Earl Carradine, he was saying, yeah, why use that for cattle? Human beings should be our cattle. They want to. It's like some majority of the werewolves in this movie want to stick to their, the primal animalistic ways of the werewolf.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what they've been trying to do at the very end.
And since Jill is still here, and because I am ever pressing my channel, I have to ask: did those links work, Jill? Did you get to my spread shop and my merch shop? I just have to ask.
While we're waiting for that answer, seems like Billy has a lot of questions regarding sequels. What about the Rambo sequels?
Oh, okay. Well, First Blood is definitely the best one, but I do like the 2008 Rambo reboot. That was insane.
They just recently did one too, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Last Blood, which is Sylvester Stallone's last time playing Rambo. And what's crazy is that Stallone was actually injured for real on the set of First Blood. There was a stunt where he had to jump off a cliff down onto some branches, and when he landed on on the branch, like he broke one of his ribs, and they actually kept that shot in the movie. So those painful sounds that Stallone was making was for real.
I broke one of my ribs, man.
That's nuts, though.
I want a new Critters movie. They did make several new Critters movies.
I'm just going to say this
first, which also had Dee Wallace. Seriously, that's the thing. Dee Wallace, she throughout the 80s, the movies that she was in through the 80s, she was always playing the mom character very often. Like she was the mom in E.T., she was the mom in Cujo, and she was also the mom in Critters.
There you go, Tom.
Thank you, Jill.
Yeah. But
buy some stuff. I was going to say another word, but buy some stuff.
Well, and the other thing too, I just
let me answer this question. DJ, I'd rather watch The Burning and Jeepers Creepers because that's the reason why we're not covering Jeepers Creepers movies on this, because as I've stated before on the podcast, that director Victor Salva is a convicted pedophile. Convicted pedophile. So I refuse to cover any work that came from him or anybody who has that kind of disgusting background.
I'm just gonna say this, since you brought up about we brought up about Rambo, all I could think right now, and Tom, I'm sure you watched the show, was that It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia when Danny DeVito was referencing Rambo. What is that? Is that Rambo? No, I made that up.
Yeah. And let's talk about hold on.
I know a little something about Philadelphia. He's on par with Woody Allen and Roman Polanski.
Oh yeah, Roman Polanski. Yes. Well, I'm not going to discuss him.
His movies are good, though. Let's be honest, though.
Yeah, but I refuse to talk about him. Okay.
Okay.
But anyway, one more. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, like another Wolfman reference that I did see is where which was where Chris and Terry were like in bed together watching The Wolfman, and it showed what was his name, Claude Rains, who plays Lon Chaney's father in that.
Yeah,
was it Claude Rains?
Was it him? Yeah. He was like reciting.
That's the Invisible Man, by the way.
Yeah, he was also Invisible Man 10 years before that. Yes. And what was it?
You learned that from the Rocky Horror Picture Show theme song. Claude Rains was the Invisible Man.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm trying to think of what it was. It was where he was saying that rhyme, which was even a man who is pure of heart and says his prayer by night may become a wolf when the wolfbane blooms and the autumn moon is bright. And they showed this immediately after when Christopher Stone was attacked by a werewolf. Yeah, after he was bitten.
Yeah,
showed and man, that was very compelling. They showed that right after, basically saying that now that he's been bitten, he's gonna give into the animalistic instincts as far as the werewolf curse.
And then he got the shot from the doctor. He's like, "Is that really necessary?"
Yep. And also, now that he is now that he's got the werewolf curse, he started eating meat because
Yeah.
he demonstrated throughout the beginning of the film that he was a vegetarian, but now,
Yeah, he said I often try to avoid meat.
yep.
And
but
then
now
after that chick showed up, their friend,
their friend
and
Terry,
she's
yeah.
like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I forgot you don't eat meat." He's like, "No, I'll eat anything if I'm hungry."
That's right. Yeah. And so, yeah, it's like once you contracted the werewolf curse, like it changes everything about these characters.
Yeah.
And like that's one of the most terrifying aspects is, like you said, Nick, they have the ability to transform at will. It's like, and like typically in Hollywood movies, like werewolves try to hold back transformation from the full moon, but here's the thing: no full moon is involved with their transformation.
Right.
It's like,
Not necessary.
yeah, werewolves could attack in broad daylight in this movie.
Or on nights even without
you
a
guys
full
are
moon.
being
Yep.
called out by DJ Evan C.
Oh yes, here.
See,
Oh,
I'm trying to see what else here.
Well, we were hoping to like cover like maybe one or two Halloween movies this year, like Halloween 2, possibly 2 and possibly 3, because we also want to cover The Exorcist when the day gets closer to when the new Exorcist Believer comes out.
Oh, and look who's also going to join us, guys. Oh,
Nikki,
what's up, Nikki?
hey, good to see you.
Now we're complete.
Good to see you too.
Yes.
How you doing?
The only thing we need is
sort of.
Jill.
We still,
Oh,
well,
okay.
sort of. We
Cool.
still need Jill here,
Yeah,
but
Jill
we're
has to be
almost
here.
complete.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
we go.
Oh
We-
wait,
we-
you're gonna
Jill.
do that? All right.
I saw that picture you sent of your hair.
So, Nikki, so you
Yes.
obviously you've seen the Howling. When did you first see it?
I haven't actually seen it.
1981.
The first Howling movie.
She said she actually hasn't seen it.
Oh, you actually haven't seen it? Oh, yeah. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it as far as werewolf movies, because they did an amazing job with the special effects. The characters were great. The acting. There's like so much to enjoy about this movie. And yeah, even though there are some fairly shocking moments, but it's a great film overall. Well,
I actually plan to watch that because it's now on Netflix.
Oh, is it?
Oh.
Cool.
The Pope's Exorcist is on Netflix.
I heard it's really good. I haven't seen it yet, so I've been meaning to.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we'll have to check that out too. Let's see.
And also the idea of wanting to do an episode on the original one too. I mean, not only just for the new one coming out, Don, but also 50th anniversary to the original one. So it's good timing too.
Yeah, and it's crazy how, oh man, it's crazy because I want to tell you, Nikki, the director of the movie just recently died. But here's the thing.
Oh wow.
Do you want to explain? Wait, do you want to say it now, Don, or do you want to wait until we actually do an episode?
Yeah,
I'm not trying to cut you off, but
oh yeah, you know what? Yeah, maybe it's better if we wait until we actually do the episode.
yeah, I just don't want you to spoil for it until we do an episode.
We'll save it. We'll save it.
Oh, now
good.
Jill here asks, what about Jack Nicholson involved with Michelle? How do you say her last
Michelle
name?
Pfeiffer.
He does crazy so well.
He really does. Yeah, I just feel bad for Jack Nicholson now because he developed dementia, which is why he had stopped acting back in 2010. And so from what I've heard, he's become reclusive. He doesn't make public appearances anymore. So his dementia must be getting really bad.
I was gonna say I didn't know that he was suffering dementia. I mean, I know he's older now, but I didn't know that he was suffering dementia.
Yeah, it's true.
Jill, yes, sweet. Lauren, yeah, I do have the before we end for tonight. She sent me the videos and pictures of when she was in that area of New Jersey for Friday the 13th. So
nice.
I'd like to show you guys that before we end for tonight. So I do have them ready to go. I just don't know exactly when I'll be able to show them, Lauren. So I'm all set with them. So we're good.
Nice. And let's see. Oh, where'd Nikki go?
I think she's having some connection issues. Oh wait, nope, she's back.
Okay,
I'm
great.
here. My dad just needed help with his
Oh, yeah.
setup in his room.
Oh, no worries, Tom. You're fine. All good.
The hell is
Yeah.
this?
And also, when you look at the very beginning, when I forgot to mention, there is a cameo in this. Someone you know all too well, Nick. Yeah, like right at the beginning where D. Wallace goes to the phone booth and talks on the phone with Eddie. Where Eddie's telling her where to meet him. You notice that there is a guy that stands outside of the phone booth, right?
Yeah, I didn't really take notice.
Yeah.
Yep. That man is Roger Corman.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. That's crazy.
I know. Like I didn't notice that until like recent years when I got this Blu-ray, and when I looked at like when I looked at like the extra features and when they talk about Roger Corman, I'm like, wait, he was in this? I was like, what?
That's crazy.
He just happened to be around that day.
I actually kind of thought of something similar like that, Don. I mean, I'm sorry to bring it up, but it is on a movie. And I will admit, I know, again, like we just mentioned, the director is controversial, but I still like this film, Rosemary's Baby. If you look at a film like that,
yeah,
the producer of that film was William Castle, and they kind of do something similar because there's a phone booth scene in that movie, and there's a guy waiting outside to use the phone. That guy who's waiting out to use the phone booth is William Castle. So it just kind of reminded me of that scene.
So maybe in this movie that was kind of like paying homage to
Rosemary's Baby. It's still a good film regardless. I have a copy of it, so it's a good film.
It's a very intense movie, and again, just supports my theory that the older horror films actually have an essence to them that like the horror films of today just do not have. They cannot get. Because they rely too heavily on the jump scares and the CGI and this and that and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean?
That's one of the things that has changed since this movie. And another thing that has changed is, phone booths. You don't really see those around anymore.
Very rarely.
You'd be lucky to see a paid phone, much less a paid booth.
And it's all thanks to this.
Yeah, right.
And I'm just going to point out this movie is also based on one of our haunted locations here in Chicago. The only difference is it takes place in New York instead of Chicago.
And if we didn't have these things, then I would not have a YouTube channel. Which you can find my merch shop, and it's in the links, like in the comments way up there, if you want to check it out.
No, unless if we didn't have that, you could have used the video camera.
Actually, in the first like two or three videos that I did, I used a digital video camera that I got like back in 2007 because the phone I had at the time had cracks.
Come on,
camera.
You had to bring that up.
Sorry, Tom. I'm sorry, Tom. He was bringing up.
Yeah, I don't like that movie.
Nope. I remember first seeing it on AMC back when they did Fear Fridays. But where they showed me because I love American Werewolf in London, and that's like my all-time favorite. Even back then, that was my all-time favorite werewolf movie. I loved watching it when I was 8. But then they showed this movie for the first time. I'm thinking, oh, this is a sequel to American Werewolf in London, and so I put them out. So I put that movie on. It's coming up it's on AMC. They were showing it right after American Werewolf in London. Yep, they were showing it right after American Werewolf in London. It's the title said American Werewolf in Paris. I'm like, okay, it's a sequel to it. Okay. But then about 15 minutes in, I'm just like, what the hell is this? This is nothing like the first movie.
What the hell is this crap?
The only thing I liked about it, if anything, was just the opening. That was like the only part of the entire film where there was actually connection because we found out who the guy was that was getting attacked. Yeah. But after the opening, that was it. That was it.
And in his best butthead voice, what the hell is this crap?
Yeah. What also upset me more, like it's not even just the 13 minutes. It was more like the first 30 minutes where we get to know these dumb characters, and then we get to see the CGI, the horrible CGI werewolves, and like you know what, those weren't even werewolves. They hardly even look it.
They just look more like giant apes, if anything.
Yeah,
more like were-gorillas.
Like were-gorillas. That's what they were.
That's where the idea of Gorilla Glue came from.
And also, that's what they were in True Blood, were-panthers.
Yeah.
I just now remembered it.
Yeah, and it's also been brought to my attention. Somebody forgot where now, but somebody like one of my live stream mentioned that they thought that there was this movie called A Mexican Werewolf in Texas was somehow related. Which
actually supposed to be the Chupacabra on that movie.
Yeah. It was supposed to be El Chupacabra, which is not a werewolf at all. It's like it's a misleading title. Like
I picture Cheech's voice, Cheech Marin's voice. Hey man, I'm a werewolf, man. Hey, look, I'm in Texas. Look, I'm at the Alamo, man. Look at me.
it's just that movie, Mexican Werewolf in Texas. It's a misleading title. It has nothing to do with werewolves.
No, you're not at the Alamo, man. You're at the A&P.
Oh, God.
No, man, I'm at the Alamo, man. No, man, really, you're at the A&P.
So anyway, Nikki, like one of the things that this movie is like well known for is like the practical effects, like the werewolf transformation scene. It had a very, very impressive one. Like towards the end of the movie, where this guy like is face to face with D. Wallace, and over the course of about 2 minutes 45 seconds. Yes, I timed it. And he like undergoes a slow transformation, and not just the hair growth, but like his chest. Sometimes his chest like was like, you know, moving forward, ripping his shirt. And Nick, you need a fan in there.
I'm just pulling I'm in the basement, but I'm still like, you know, just sweating against this damn heat wave.
Nick has many fans, man.
Yeah. I got my AC blasting, so
the basement is cooler, but you know, I guess maybe it's just up from all the laughing and stuff.
Nick, I forgot to ask.
You got to stop looking at me. Is your problem? That's what's going on.
You were saying, Don?
Yeah, Nick, I wanted to mention, wanted to say this earlier. I probably should have said this in the beginning, but it's slipped my mind. Wanted to let you know that this Saturday, I'm planning on having a get together with my cousin Joe and our friend Charles. Like I said, like if you still got nothing going on Saturday, you know, like if you're still up for it, we'd like to have you here.
Yeah, you talked to me on the phone about. I could still make it.
Yeah, I did mention.
Unless you're traveling to like Utah.
Getting hot flashes.
My God. But yeah, Nick, once you get here, like we're thinking about either pizza or takeout. You know, you can't go wrong with either one. So yeah,
you should do a total streaming party of the entire Nightmare on Elm Street series. Only with Robert Englund, though. Not
that shitty remake.
Oh God, yeah, but Joe and Charles, we might not just watch a movie or something. It depends on what everybody wants to do. We might play games. We might just we'll see what everybody wants to do.
I was thinking originally, but it would be kind of a lot for me to bring. I would have brought my bigger, blacker Cards Against Humanity box. So I know it doesn't sound right, but that's what they call it, the bigger, blacker box. It's Cards Against Humanity. What do you expect?
I know. Yeah, Cards Against Humanity is a good idea. We got that. I also got the PS5, so that's always an option.
She's like, Jill's still here. I was wondering if she was still here or not. Where's my invite? We ought to do. I don't think we could do this on a live show. Let's face it. We should do like some type of backstage show of us all playing Cards Against Humanity one of these days.
Maybe. Oh man, it's gonna get insane. Yeah. Hey, I hear you, Jill. What kind of party is not complete without pizza?
Yo, yes, Brad. We should. Cards Against Humanity Paranormal Edition. They make all those different editions for Cards Against Humanity. Why not a paranormal one or a horror film one?
Oh yeah. And let's see. Oh yeah, Nikki. So like, what did I want to tell you about The Howling? It's that the man Joe Dante who directed Piranha, who also directed Gremlins, directed this. So, yeah. What's that noise?
I have no idea.
I think I thought it was maybe the connect, like something involving the connection or something like that. I wasn't really sure.
Yeah, I was thinking somebody trying to type something. What is that?
Well, see, StreamYard it's been synonymous over years that every once in a while you'll get a stream where you'll hear this, and it does sound like somebody typing. It has happened across the board. Like all the people that use StreamYard have had that problem at some point or another. I don't know what it is. And they've never really described it, nor have they even tried to fix it. They're too busy adding on to what's already there to fix what's already going on.
Yeah, pretty much. But
it's a paranormal duck walking.
Oh God.
I've never heard of that before. That's got to be the most random reason I think I've ever heard.
Life is like a hurricane.
Ghost duckies. Don, I know we only got a few minutes left because I know Greg's got his show coming up. There actually is something I would like to broadcast, which is only like 50 seconds, but
Go ahead.
I'll do that right before the end of the show. It's actually a trailer,
You
not a movie
You
trailer.
could right now. You could right now. Yeah.
Well, and guess what? Here's the thing. It's actually kind of involving werewolves, as a matter of fact.
I couldn't hear you because of that noise.
It's actually kind of involving werewolves in a way. So it's the trailer, because I know I haven't really made much announcements because, like I said, I'm currently working on the current audiobook series. But I would like to show you guys the trailer. It's not mine, but I got permission to show it. And I think they're actually encouraging everyone to share it. Is the trailer for one of the other books we're going to work on, which is the Nightmare Society. It's another Scary Stories tribute book, but this is the first one that is aimed primarily for a mature audience. So it's going to be creepy to look
It's
at.
gonna have cuss words and stuff.
It does, actually. There's no audio stories. It's just music. But I can tell you guys right now, in my opinion, after I read this for the first time, and I'm really excited that we're going to eventually start recording it, it is undoubtedly, as I would put it, the most terrifying book I've ever read. So here it is.
Wow.
Man,
Right?
that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to work on this. I mean, we're still going to be working on Nightmare Soup 3, but I decided to kind of surprise you guys that this time for this upcoming Halloween season, we're going to be doing 2 books for the price of 1.
Wow.
Oh, okay. Nice. Oh, and Nick, I did mention before, that I did a poll for this week when I put out a post a week before to decide the werewolf movie for the Howling won by like 75% of the votes, and
I was one of those votes.
Yeah, and the runner-up for that was Dog Soldiers, and that's what we're going to be covering next week. A modern werewolf movie, and it takes place in Scotland. And it's got quite a few familiar faces on there. If you there's that noise.
I don't mean to.
You guys really never came across this noise
sound
before?
is gone. I don't mean anything bad.
Oh, wait.
It's just interfering.
Oh,
You guys never came across this voice before or this sound before, like in all your times?
I've heard of the sound before, but God, Jill, that is definitely not going to happen. We are not covering
Christ. Listen, vampires
horror.
do not. I'm sorry. This may be very politically incorrect to say, but vampires do not sparkle in the daylight. It does not happen. The vampires do not go out in the daylight, much less sparkle in the daylight. And no, I would not.
I've always said, because you look at something like vampire films and they always say that they're villains and stuff like that, and they're saying in this case they're the heroes. You know what I always say about the vampire in Twilight, or if there's more of them, or at least the one dude, I always say he's not a hero. He is a captive who allows himself to be exploited by filthy teenage girls, because it came out around the time when I was in high school.
And if you want to see vampires being the heroes, then actually don't see the movies. Read the books of Anne Rice's The Vampire Chronicles. I mean, you will be amazed. Like, I mean, Louis Lestat.
It's no big deal, Nikki. It's really not. I'm going to give Nikki. I'm going to give you a call after the show.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, sorry, Tom, go ahead.
Like if you want to see like vampires being the heroes instead of the villains, then you read the books. Don't watch the movies, because the movies are crap. of Anne Rice's, like Interview with the Vampire Lestat, Queen of the Damned. Now the movies, they skipped over the Vampire Lestat. They kind of included some of it in Interview and some of it in Queen of the Damned. But like I actually think the Vampire Lestat was Blade is an awesome vampire movie.
It is.
It is. Love it. We'll have to cover that one soon.
But the books of Anne Rice's stuff are so far better than the movies. Like I actually started reading them when I was a teenager, riding the buses here in Philly, and I could not put them down, really. And I read them out of order. I read The Vampire Lestat first, and then I read Interview with the Vampire, and then I read Queen of the Damned. And the movies cannot hold a candle to the books at all.
Yeah, nice. That's true. Oh, there's one vampire book that I can never put down. One that I enjoy reading. Hold on. Right over here.
So,
Right over here.
and Don, we got it. I don't want to cut it, but after you show it, we do have to eventually,
I know.
we will have to start ending things because Greg's coming on.
I'm watching the clock. No worries.
Nikki was asking this, of course. This will. Oh yes.
Yeah, the book
Salem's
is definitely
Lot.
better than the movie.
Yeah, I love the book.
Yeah.
Nikki was actually requesting, and see, I've been getting a couple of requests from wanting to show. See, honestly, I was even surprised I was able to show the Nightmare Society. Lauren, we'll have to. I know we don't have time now. I'll have to show you those.
You guys can overlap,
Well, Greg's show is pretty important. I mean, I'm not saying that it's more important, but the other thing was
More important. Wow, thanks.
no. I mean, what Lauren
Wow,
was.
we suck.
You guys get what I mean. No, I was going to say, Lauren, I'll have to show those videos and pictures of when you guys went to the Friday the 13th filming site another time because we just don't have time. And then Nikki actually just requested if I could show. She just recently sent me a video, which I saw last night, of an investigation that she did. And that's about a 5-minute video. So that, too, we don't have time for. So I'm getting all these requests left and right.
They had a spirit box and it just went.
Well, and also, I was going to show, in addition to that trailer, since we were talking about werewolves, I actually wanted to broadcast one of the recorded stories we've done, which was a werewolf story. But that'll have to wait till next week.
For sure. All right, so
Teen Wolf next week.
So on Thursday, I will be going back to doing my video game live stream covering some more Batman Arkham Knights. Amazing game. Cannot wait to go back into it. And like I said, next week on Fearfans podcast, we are going to cover Dog Soldiers because, I figured we covered The Howling. Now we should be covering Dog Soldiers, because both, as far as werewolf movies go, both are essential.
And then Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf. You got to throw that one in, honestly.
Yeah, well, maybe.
And then also, as far as the other shows,
Oh, Brad, I'm going to be on Thursday. I'm going to be on at 7 p.m. Central Time. Just so you know.
And then as far as the other shows for Nick Files tomorrow, we'll probably continue on we're going to do a part 4 in this case of, part 3. My mistake, part 3. More locations throughout Mansfield, Ohio, although I still haven't fully confirmed it because I might have something going on around that same time. So I'm not sure if there will be a Nick Files episode tomorrow. If not, definitely next week. Then Thursday to the grave and back with me, Lowe's, and Grizzly. We do have a guest coming on, which we're really excited about. I can't remember his name, but he'll be on with us on Thursday. Then on Thursday night, Supernatural Talk with me, Jeremy, Adrian, and Eileen. We got Dennis, the owner of the Holy Cross Abbey, coming on as a guest. So we're really excited to be chatting with him again. And then finally on the Frighteners on Friday, we got I don't remember who it is, but we also have another guest on for that show. So that's going to be coming up. So hopefully you guys will be able to do that.
Yeah.
What's that, Tom?
I said they're apparently really important if you don't remember.
It's been a long day for me today.
Listen, I understand. I get it. Believe me, I do.
All right. Well, I guess that'll be it for tonight. So hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Fear Fans podcast. Subscribe to my channel, subscribe to Nick's channel, subscribe to Tom at This Is Tom's World, and be sure to tune in next week when we cover Dog Soldiers. I am looking forward to this one. I already so excited that I already created a thumbnail for it a week in advance. Usually I make it like 2 or 3 days before, but no, this time I decided I got
I
to
make mine the day of.
Yes, don't forget also to share the Nikki's page too of
yes,
and like Night Watchers Paranormal Perth.
totally. All right, so that'll be it for tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you back on here next Tuesday, same time. Good night, everybody.
Good night,
Later.
everyone.